Hey guys, today we'll be reviewing the new movie Shazam, which is coming out April 7th. We got some exclusive tickets to it, and we saw it last night. It was really cool. Go ahead and check that out and see how it goes.
Alright, so the movie Shazam, it's basically about this 15-year-old boy. He's an orphan. He's running away from home trying to find his parents. And then he runs away, and the cops get him. They send him back to another orphanage, but this orphanage is really, really nice people. It's just him getting used to it. And he finds this one cripple kid at the orphanage. It's not really an orphanage, it's more of a foster home. And he takes the one cripple kid. There's a lot of humor from that one guy. And he's basically, the cripple kid is his sidekick. And the 15-year-old boy turns into
So
Shazam.
basically what's been happening is there's this wizard named Shazam, and he's been protecting the 7 deadly sins from the earth for the last 100 years or so. I don't know how long. He's losing his powers, he's getting old, he's going to die soon. So he's been trying to get the perfect person, but he gets to this point where he can't find someone perfect, and he has to just choose someone randomly, and that happens to be our main character.
I don't know his name. I forgot his name.
Yeah, I don't know either.
We'll put it up on the screen.
So he just says, I don't want these powers, but eventually gets it. Now at this point, he's already lost control of the 7 deadly sins. This guy's going around, he's killing people with it. So he's going around killing people, and the 7 deadly sins have been released because he wasn't strong enough to hold him back. And so we've got this villain with 7 sins in him, and he's just killing his father and his brother, everything he hates. He's giving in to envy, greed, everything. And then we got over him here, and he doesn't even know he has powers yet. Like, he doesn't know how to use them.
Yeah,
and
he just sees he's like some really big tough dude. He's like, oh wow,
he's having fun. He's going, like, stopping robberies. But all he knows he can do is run fast, and basically he's strong. So he finds out he has some powers like bullet resistance, fire resistance. And then eventually he learns how to fly when it's needed most. Eventually he's gonna go against the main villain, like pretty early, or I'd say about halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
He goes against the main villain.
And the main villain, it's not a name that sticks with me. I don't remember that name. Like, all the other villains in, like, Marvel and all that stuff, which this isn't a Marvel movie, it's DC. You know the villain names, like Venom and all the other, Thanos. All the, villains. This one it didn't stick for some reason. I don't know. I feel like they could have picked a better name.
Yeah. I forget. Shazam worked, but he didn't use that name Shazam because that's how he transformed from his superhero to his child form. And I think at the end movie he was just called Captain Sparklefingers. I'm pretty sure that was what they agreed on. So then he's going on. He basically just hides. He gets scared. He says, "I'm done. I'm not fighting this main villain." And this is the point in the movie where he gives up. He realizes he's not good enough to fight the main villain, and he has to have his family threatened and really push through for him to come back.
Yeah. Of course, at the end, he defeats the villain. It's not really the best fight scene ever, but yeah, that's. I didn't really like the movie too much. At the beginning, the wizard talked about his 5 brethren that had died, and he said, "I give this love to you from my heart," or whatever. And he at the end of the movie, he realized that he needed his 5 step siblings to become one of him. So they each had different powers. Like the little girl, she had the power of speed, and then he had them all, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And then they were able to take down all the villains together, which. I feel like that was made. There wasn't a one-on-one fight scene, but there was like a 7. I feel like without all 7 of all 6, it's 6 of them. All 6 of the superheroes, he's kind of like bad. He couldn't really defeat that one guy without his 6 helpers, and I feel like in future movies that's gonna become a big part of it. There's gonna be the 6 different people, and that's gonna be important. Yeah.
And then of course he beats the villain. And then let's just talk about the end scenes real quick. So. First end scene was him trying to talk to fish, which, by the way, trying to talk to fish, and obviously he couldn't talk to fish, but it's just another funny part. And then
second end scene was this caterpillar guy who was in the wizard. He has this like lair that Shazam
the boy Shazam was teleported to, and that's how he got his powers. So the caterpillar that's in that like layer, well, it's in a prison with the bad guy now. It's, you know, a little caterpillar. It's like in a vent, like talking to the bad guy, and that's the very last scene. It just tells him some stuff
Basically,
about how he's going to control the world.
The
and
main
get powers.
main villain is going to come back as a different villain, probably in the DC comics. We can go research that. So let's talk about what we thought about the movie, because
I mean, it was a good movie. It just wasn't. It wasn't a great movie. All around. What do
I
you
feel
think?
like there was definitely parts that could improve, but I really enjoyed it at the end when I was leaving. I was like, that was a good movie when I was leaving.
It
But
was definitely funny.
yeah, there was a lot
bit
of humor.
Too much funny.
Sometimes it did take parts of where there should have been more fillers, I feel like, but it was overall really good.
Speaking of fillers, at the very beginning, you know, it takes a long time to establish the main character's backstory and get him to how he became Shazam. You know, I just think they could have shortened that a lot more and had more action, because with the action scenes, there were barely any. Like, if you think about how many times the villain was actually punched by Shazam or hurt, it's like maybe 3 punches. 3 punches were thrown. There's not a lot of action in the movie.
See, I agree that there could have been a little bit more, but when you think about this, there's a 15-year-old boy. He doesn't know villain. He's going against a guy who's been training for this his whole life. He's literally been looking for people that are going to come hunt him down, and he has to fight him now. He's scared. Like, he doesn't want to punch him, and it isn't really till the end scene where he finally gets that final fight scene with all of his family members that he feels confident enough to go in there and actually fight him, because he's been running away from this whole time and letting his family down. And I feel like a really important scene that I forgot to mention is when he finds his mom, and it's a big scene that changes for him, because his mom says, "I can't take care of you right now." And
Yeah, because he was orphaned because he was lost.
his
when he
mom
was real young.
purposely left him in a carnival. Like, it's really messed up, and she keeps going back to people who are bad to her, and it shows him, I need to be strong. I've already found my way, because the entire movie he's looking for his mom, and now it's
He
I
finds her,
me.
and it's-
I found my family. I got to work with it. So I think that's why, in the end, the only really fight scene we had was with the 5 kids taking down the villains and
Because
stuff.
that's his family.
Yeah, and then that was the only really time that he actually fought him. But also, up to that point, he didn't have his powers yet.
Yeah.
He had them, but he didn't know they existed. He couldn't even fly till, I'd say, 3/4 way through the movie or something.
Yeah.
Like, maybe halfway. Because it takes to a certain point, he had to be pushed that far, and then he could make it. But I could see, like, in the next movie there being more scenes, but we'll have to see with Shazam and his next occurrence. But they definitely alluded to lots more movies with Shazam being involved in the DC movie universe.
Yeah, and like in the fight scenes, you know, they're flying side by side each other, the villain and Shazam, and you know they're gonna fight, but they just keep on flying and flying and flying. It's just a build up to a big fight scene, and then there's no big fight scene, and then it does it again, build up, and then no big fight scene, and then at the very end there's like a couple punches thrown, but that's it, and then at the end when he changes all his siblings into heroes, like they can all fight. They're all fighting the 7 deadly sins, because there's enough. There's 7 of them, and he has 6 brothers and sisters, and he's fighting the last guy. And then they're just fighting the deadly sins, and then they're punching them and beating them. But when Shazam was trying to fight them, he would like try to punch them, but they'd like kind of turn into dust and then appear behind him. Like he couldn't fight them well. But he just turned his siblings into heroes, and they're like, "Oh, already perfect for this," even though they've only been heroes for 2 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that. There was a little bit of flaw there. But at that point they needed something. I get what you're saying though. This is something I just like to bring up. Do his parents know that they're superheroes? Because they went out to go look for him, right?
Yeah.
And when he was going for his mom, and then, I don't really remember them showing up again, honestly.
Yeah.
They all left. They all got trapped, and then they left to go to the carnival, and his parents weren't there. And then, obviously, like, they still kind of look like each other in their superhero form.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering where this is gonna go, because if their family finds out, and then I feel like one of them is gonna break. All 7 of them have to be honest.
Yeah.
And they said one time when they were giving away their powers, they gave it away to someone that was wrong. And he created the 7 deadly sins, and I have a feeling that could happen again, especially with
Yeah.
like the crippled kid. he has so much want to just turn to his farm and just beat the bullies up and like prove how strong he is, but
He just wants all the attention at school because he doesn't ever get it because he's a cripple.
they all have flaws. Like the little girl, she just wants to be loved, so she may force love on. You know, like how she
Yeah.
probably. I feel like there could be some major issues with that.
Yeah, they probably could.
Maybe not. And then the main character, he seems to mostly have changed his thing. Like at the beginning, he was running away and he just hated everyone. At the end, he's like super loving to his family, and he's just super selfless. But I feel like he still has some flaws that maybe will affect how he reacts. And so basically, yeah.
When he gets his powers, the wizard, he's transferring powers over to him. He's like, forefathers of like Poseidon, Zeus, Odin, all them, put your powers into this, child. And that makes me think, so all those gods, all their powers going into this one kid. So he has to be really, really powerful and tough. That makes me think, is he like the Captain Marvel of DC Universe? Is he like the most powerful character? There.
And, well, I'd like to bring up something. So, I read this article about Marvel, and they said that Captain Marvel, everyone's thinking, like, she's going to come in this next movie, and she's going to take everything down. She's going to be the winner. But they actually said that she's not as powerful as everything she is. She's going to help out, but she needs the help of other things. And I feel like he's kind of like that, too. I feel like he's got the powers of Superman, but first of all, he's not trained in it at all. He's got a lot of work to do, and I feel like by the next movie he will have more training, especially if he has the power of all of his friends. But
in one of the after scenes, after the credits had gone through, it shows Shazam trying to talk to a fish and like telepathically communicate with it. And like, of course, it doesn't work, so he just puts the fishbowl down. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I don't think it would actually work." But when he's being given the powers, the wizard says powers of Poseidon flow through him. And Aquaman and Poseidon, they're pretty close, And Aquaman, he can talk to fish and control fish. So if Shazam has the powers of Poseidon running through him, then
he already really has the
he
powers
can-
of almost all of those things. He's got Flash, Superman. He's got basically the everything, and with all of his other things. But you could say each of his powers are in each of his siblings, and none of his siblings had the ability to talk to fish. So you could say maybe he doesn't.
Well, I mean,
But he may
didn't
have
even try that.
untapped powers. The kids may even have untapped powers they didn't know existed. But it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The next thing I'd like to talk about is kind of the Justice League. So that movie came out, right? I didn't really enjoy it that much. Just DC movies, I feel like I really like the Batman movies, honestly. And the Superman movies I liked, but and then Batman versus Superman just is not that good. But they had the Justice League movie, and so that means I'm wondering how Shazam is going to play into this. And in one of the last scenes of the movie, he comes to the lunchroom of the crippled kid, and shows up, and everyone's like loving on him because he's like in Shazam, and he's like making his siblings look cool and stuff. And then the bottom half of Superman shows up, and it's another funny scene, but it's alluding. It's alluding to Superman being involved in him, and I think that's gonna be interesting. Also, I feel like there's a lot of symbolism in the movie too.
Also.
Well, just based on I feel like just there's, you had all the thrones there lined up, right, and you just see this layer, and even from the beginning of the movie, they basically told you it was gonna happen, which people don't like that sometimes, but I kind of liked it because they were like, it's gonna happen. It's been in the things. This is how superheroes are, and this kid studied superheroes from the beginning, and they finally got this layer, and I just feel like so much more is gonna happen. They're just gonna, cause the layer. I feel like there's way more to explore in the layer.
Oh yeah. Oh, you saw all those rooms, all the doors.
Yeah, there's there was doors.
There was a separate
throughout
room in the layer. It had a bunch of doors in it. Because to get into the layer, you had to put markings on a door, and then open up that door, you'd be in a layer. There was a bunch of other doors in a different room in the layer. And, in one of the scenes, they opened up one of the doors. There was, a crocodile family that's living there playing poker. Really, just weird stuff.
Yeah. A room with literally just a vacuum of air. It was really interesting, and I feel like there's a lot more that's going to be unpacked through that. So, yeah.
This is it's one of the best DC movies that I've seen so far. Batman was also pretty good. There was definitely a big humor improvement, like in
If you saw Aquaman's trailer, it looked like, hey, I'm excited for this. It looks like there's some funny parts, but then basically when you watch the movie, you're like, I didn't really. It's just an ad movie, and then you go and watch Marvel movies, and it's like Christmas morning. You go in there, and you're like, so much is everything. Every movie is closing a gap you didn't know you even wanted to be closed. Like in Captain Marvel, like is a lower down Marvel movie compared to the ratings right now. But it filled so many gaps. It was like, that's how you found this. That's how you found this. That's how this happened. Like, and it taught you a lot about like more of the universe, and it really was just amazing to watch because you're sitting there in amazement. You're just like, oh yes, but so I feel like this one it was really good. It was a whole new character with better humor.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot better humor. Too much humor.
I feel like
so good.
Marvel movies probably are better so far.
Yeah.
They got just too much building up on them. But if DC keeps it the standard, I feel like they could have a lot going for them.
See, there's in Marvel movies, there's like the Avengers, there's X-Men, it's all Marvel. My question is, could like the Justice League and then Shazam, are they like two separate?
No, they're gonna be together because Superman was at the end of the movie together.
That's true. Yeah.
And then if you saw the credits, they had all the superheroes. Like Aquaman was like taking a picture with them.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
it's just they're obviously going to be talking to him soon. Because he's obviously a big. He's already on news. Like they're in the middle of like a big city in America. Like they're gonna be. I think was it New York or Chicago?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Yes, it's Philadelphia. For wrong, that's gonna suck.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Philadelphia.
Me too. So yeah, I think they're gonna make big news immediately. Like, hey, there's a new superhero. Like,
Yeah.
and obviously they're like, if you saw the Last Wizards, they stayed in their lair this entire time watching the evil characters, which is kind of boring, but that's what they did. They didn't do anything else. But these people, they seem like they're gonna go out there. They're gonna be public because they already released themselves to the public. Although unlike the Wizard who didn't do that.
Yeah.
But
No, but they're not the wizards. They're the heroes that they selected.
But they
They're the
turn into the
champions.
wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah, they embody the wizard's powers, and that's now their goal, to protect the 7 deadly sins. Which probably,
To keep them
if the 7
close.
deadly sins eventually got out, the world would end. It would be the end of all times, which kind of scared me for future movies. Like, that guy's gonna go back for the 7 deadly sins. You know it too.
And it's so easy to access them. If you see the movie, the 7 deadly sins are in this orb.
Yeah, all you have to do is grab it, put it in your eye, and you're done.
Yeah, it's like floating. Just grab it, see that, and they're in you, and you're pretty much invincible. It's so easy just to get them. So I mean, they really got to step up their protection there.
The only thing is the 7 deadly sins embody themselves. They feel their emotions, so they're very easily overcome. In the last scene, he got all 7 deadly sins and was able to punch him. Because when you have the 7 deadly sins in you really can't die. You're invincible. But once you get them out, you're good.
You're just a normal human.
But he was able to trick them to get the sins out because they're evil and they want to when you like taunt them, they want to bite you, they want to fight you, and it was really cool. I feel like that's it, Isaac.
Yeah.
Overall, I'd rate this movie.
Well, since we are Cinemark Plus premium Prime movie members,
You're not. I am.
Yeah, same thing. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 7.
I was gonna say that too. I feel like there's better movies I would rate in like the 7 rating category.
Let's do it compared to Marvel.
Well, first I'm gonna say overall. I think when I left that movie, I was happy with what I had. There was some flaws, but overall, I thought that was a really good movie. I was happy I spent my money on it. Compared to Marvel, Marvel's obviously better.
Yeah.
Even Captain Marvel was better. It just filled too many gaps.
I think they're about on the same level.
Captain Marvel didn't. It filled too many gaps for me. It was just so good. I left that movie satisfied.
Yeah.
This movie, there's so many open ends. Like Captain Marvel.
I mean, it is a new character. So
well, yeah, but still though, when you get that feeling, it's just so much nicer.
Yeah.
So that's my rating. Yeah, this is our first video.
Yep.
So we're gonna be posting more, and then hopefully get more out. And then so thank you.
All right, thanks for watching.